So what is CCS, and why is it cool? Why is it a viable option for swimmers? Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, it's just like a great way if you're not like if you don't want to swim like competitive or like if you I don't know what I'm saying. I got
No, no, that's okay. So it,
no.
it's kind of hard to explain. Not really hard, but it's different, right? So it's not NCs, right? It's not Division One. It's not Division Two. It's not Division Three. It's also not NAIA or NJCAA, which we'll actually talk about all of those programs in a different um, episode. But it's CCS. So what it is it's D1 programs, right, or D1 schools that just they have a D1 program, but they have athletes who still want to compete, so they start a club side, right? You've probably heard of club soccer, club baseball, club really any sport. If you go to a university, most universities have club sports, and club swimming is just that. And so with club swimming, it allows you to continue and compete. It's really not any different from an NCAA program. Just talking about our program alone, we do everything a D1 program does. They have organized practices. We have organized practices. They train. We train. They get gear and apparel. We give our athletes gear and apparel as well. We give them t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, swimming caps, dome caps. We give them a team suit. We give them team bags, which we can show you guys if you want. But but yeah, they get gear and apparel. We get gear and apparel. They have athletic trainers. D1 athletes have athletic trainers. We also get that. We have trainers that help our athletes with. We actually just upgraded our athletic training room. So we have ice baths. We have cupping. They do this sleeve thing where you put it over your arms or your legs, and it adds compression and ice. So it's really state of the art, and it's the trainers are amazing. We have chiropractors on call. A lot of my athletes work with the chiropractors. They have physical therapists that come in and work with specific athletes. I see a lot of soccer players, and they're getting work done with the physical therapist. We have massage therapists, which I'm trying to take advantage of. But yeah, we have massage therapists, and then competitions, of course, right? The biggest thing is traveling for meets, going to large invites, and we do the same exact thing. We have in-state meets, and we also travel for our meets as well. In our introduction, we talked about the CISCA league, and we travel there. We compete against probably 10 other programs each time we're out there. So competition's the same. Gear and apparel is the same. Traveling. The only difference really is that you do have to pay to be a part of the program. And for most programs across the nation, it's really not that expensive, right? So like if you're a club athlete, you're paying anywhere from $200 to $300 a month to swim for your club program. For our program, it costs 750, actually 725 for the whole year, and you get all of that. You travel twice for invites, and then you get all the gear and apparel, all the trainers, all of our practices. So that's really the only difference is that you have to pay. And does that suck? Yeah,
A
yeah.
little bit.
Obviously, having to pay and not getting a scholarship to swim does suck. But, however, it opens up a lot of doors and a lot of opportunities for you, right? Because when you're paying year by year, you can pay for 1 year, but then the second year, if it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like the program. I want to focus on my academics. I want to focus on my career. You can. You don't have to swim all 4 years, right?
Right.
When you're on scholarship, you're swimming. You're pretty much committed to swim all 4 years because they're paying for your academics. They're paying for college, right? And if you don't swim, then you kind of lose that funding. And so when you're in club, you just pay year by year basis, and if you want to quit, that's totally okay, and that happens all the time. We don't have a lot of swimmers on our programs, and we've only been around for 5 years. We've only had one athlete go through her entire college career swimming with us, but most athletes actually stop after their first or second year. And why is that? That's not necessarily bad, but why do they do that? So that they can focus on their careers. I talk about this a lot with my athletes, is that swimming should be secondhand, right? You only swim for so long, and after that, it's like, what do I do after that, right? A lot of Olympians, when they retire, they don't have anything to fall back on, and so with college club swimming, you can pursue your career, something that you're going to be doing for probably 30 years of your life, rather than swimming, which is maybe going to be the next year, 4 years of college, and that's it, right? But with with this, you can focus on getting an internship, you can focus on getting a job, having a social life, and doing all of that. If you're a D1 athlete on scholarship, you got morning practice, you got afternoon weightlifting, then you got an evening practice. You don't have time for a job. You're traveling on weekends, you don't have time for a job, you don't have time to go hang out with a lot of friends and have a social life, because when you're not practicing, you're either in class or studying, right? And so too often I hear of athletes who swim for a D1 program who actually change their majors, who actually change it from something that they enjoy, maybe like engineering, and they go into, say, communications, just because it's an easier program, and that they can still focus on swimming where they're getting their funding and they're getting their academics paid for, and also being able to do both. So too often people have to give up things when they're a D1 athlete to focus on swimming and being a student. And then another thing too is, after after swimming college for 4 years on scholarship, I know way too many people who hate swimming.
Yeah, they just get too burnt out and they're done with it.
It's way too much, and it really does become a job. You're technically getting paid to swim, and when people are just looking for colleges to swim at to get their education paid for, they almost end up hating swimming afterwards,
Right.
because swimming wasn't their priority. It was, okay, I'm using this sport to get my academics paid for, right? But it's not that they don't enjoy swimming, it's just that they're kind of using it for their education. And so when you're doing that, and you're like, oh, I gotta wake up early, go to practice, oh, blah blah blah, then it almost becomes a chore, it almost becomes a drag. And almost every single time after they finish their 4 years, they hate it, they hate swimming, and they're not a part of it anymore. Sometimes I know of athletes who try to finish in 3 years just so they can be done and they don't have to swim that fourth year.
Right.
And that's really sad to hear. But with college club swimming, you don't really get that, right? Like, it's not, you're not getting paid to swim, you're paying to swim. So if you have something come up, say a class project, and you have to get it done, you have to meet with your group to get it done, and it's during practice time, then that's totally fine, right? Like, you're not getting punishment, you're not getting your scholarship taken away from you because you're missing a practice or two to focus on your academics.
Right.
Say you're homesick and you're just not having a good day. You don't have to go to practice. You know what I mean? Like, I have athletes that skip practice for all sorts of reasons. They're going to get groceries, they're doing laundry, they're doing blah blah blah, and that's totally okay, right? I have athletes that skip for a whole month, and then they come back and we still treat them the same. They still travel with us, they still get all the gear and apparel. Like, it's all the same, right? So if you want to join and you want to get faster and you want to train and you want to do all that, then that's there for you. We train 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So the practices are there for you, the competition's there for you. So you can have it both ways, where you're training and getting faster, but then you can also have your mental days. You can also have the days to just relax. You can focus on your academics, hang out with a friend, go out for somebody's birthday and do that. And so really, the balance is a lot easier for athletes when they're doing CCS. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, coming from a person that was a part of the club team, it was just a lot easier, and you didn't have to like think of it as like a job or a chore that you have to go to, right? You can go to the practice. If you don't want to go to the practice, you don't have to go to the practice. Of course, the coaches, they want you to go for sure.
Yeah, if you're signing up for it,
Right.
and you're wanting to get faster, you're wanting to train, then
Right.
We want you there,
Right.
to as many practices as you can. But we also understand, you're a human being
Right.
too,
Right.
and it's like, we have those mental days where it's just like I'm just not checked in, and
Right.
if I know that if I go to practice, it won't be good for me, and it's like, okay, like
Yeah.
take 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 the day off, take the next 2 days
Right.
off, take the weekend off, and we'll see you back next week.
Hmm. Also for club swimming, like also it's not just for like top swimmers or like good swimmers. Like there's also we have a lot of athletes that are just there to, get in shape or stay in shape or swim just because they want to swim. So it's not. You also don't have to do the swim meets. You don't have to go to every practice. They're just there to swim and have fun or get in shape.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. We you don't have to be a top swimmer to be on this program,
Right.
right? Like for our 50 free, it ranges from our fastest is a 21:28, and then our slowest is like a 25 mid, 25:5.
Right. For
Like
men's. For
that's
men's.
yeah, for the men's. And that's really the range, right? Like we get people who have swam club year round for a decade of their lives,
Right.
and then we have people who only swam high school or just did a summer rec program, or sometimes we get people who've never swam at all or
Yeah.
maybe have a year
Yeah.
of experience. Like this Sierra, she did cheer throughout her high school tenure, but before that she did a little bit of swimming, but she did cheer in high school, but and then she got to GCU and she was like, yeah, I want to move away from cheer and do swimming, and she's been doing great. I mean, she's
Right.
been, I think she got most improved this last year. I mean,
Yep.
she's been improving a lot. And so yeah, you're absolutely right. We take a wide range of people. It's not just for the top swimmers. If you did it in high school and you absolutely loved it, which most people do. I mean, high school swimming atmosphere is so much fun.
Yeah, it is.
So
It
much
is.
fun. And it's almost the exact same
Right.
atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like high school swim is a different like it's I can't say for like college and pro atmosphere, but high school atmosphere, like that was just the best part of my time, like in high school. After I came to GCU, I honestly did not miss high school, but like the only thing that I did miss was swimming and like that atmosphere. But
And you kind of got that same experience, right?
right,
Swimming on the club program.
right,
It's like
right,
it's almost the same. You're with this close knit group and you're training with them and you're traveling for meets. It's really about the same, yeah.
yeah,
And then another fun aspect about CCS, probably my favorite thing, is that we swim the 50s
right,
of
yeah,
every stroke.
right,
We swim all four 50s, and we also have the 100 IM.
mm-hmm.
And so the events are the exact same for any college program, right? So NCs, they swim just the 50 free, all four 100s, all four 200s, and then you got the 2 IM, 4 IM, 5 free, and then they do the mile, and then they have all 5 relays. And so we add on the other 350s, 50 back, 50 fly, 50 breast, and then the 100 IM. And then we do everything else, except for the mile. Instead of the mile,
Yeah.
we do the 1,000. But even then, like, that's not the biggest change in the world, going from 1,000
Right.
to a 1650.
Right.
And so really that's the only difference. But other than that, I mean, you swim who doesn't want to swim the 50s? I mean,
Everybody wants
they've been
to.
adding that in the world championships
Yeah.
for swimming. Like,
Yeah.
that's something that people want to see in the Olympics, is the 50s. And so being in CCS, you get to swim those 50s. And on our program, and just speaking for our program, I'm not sure how it is for others, but I think it's the same for others, is you get to swim whatever events you want.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
You go to college and say you come in as a breaststroker, but they already have a loaded breaststroke group, they might throw you into IM. They might throw you into freestyle, but you might not be, that may not be the event or the stroke you want to swim.
Right.
And so being on college club swimming, like, I let my athletes choose whatever event they want to swim.
Right.
And they get to swim 4 events at nationals, plus all 5 relays, right? At NCs, you can only swim 4 relays and only 3 individuals. And so we let them swim 4 individuals and then all 5 relays. You get to swim 9 events in total. So sometimes at meets, I have athletes that swim all 4 50s, and that's totally okay, right? We'll train you for all 4 50s. If that's what you want to do, we will train you for that, right?
Right.
So there's no stress in, oh, I'm not a distance freestyler, but they might make me swim distance free. Like,
Yeah.
no, No,
Yeah.
you don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, we don't have a limited amount of people we can put into an event.
Yeah.
Like we can put as many people as we want into one event. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes sometimes going to college you want to branch out and try a different stroke.
Right.
Try a different a length of distance, but you don't really get that, right? Because in NCs, you know, you're trying to compete to win. So it's like, what's your top event? What can you score in? That's what I want you to swim.
Right.
For most coaches. But for us, it's like, if you come in as a sprint freestyler and you want to try distance free, by all means, right?
Right.
Sam, one of our swimmers, I mean, he's a butterflyer and mid distance freestyler, but he swims the 500 sometimes. He swims the IM sometimes. He swims, you know, the 50 free and everything. But he tries out different events, different distances, different strokes all the time, and that's totally okay, right? We have so many meets, and as long as you qualify in the ones that you want to swim at nationals, then
Right.
feel free to try out anything else. And so you kind of have the luxury to be able to really swim what your heart desires. And so since we're allowed to swim 4 events, you know, some people come in purely 50 free, 100 free, right? And they have 2 more events they can swim, so they try out different events.
Right.
So for example, like Brooke joined, and she's from Colorado. She's a sprint freestyler, 50 free, 100 free. But then she was swimming backstroke, and she was trying out backstroke. She went from, I think, like a 112, 11500 backstroke to a 108. She was our second fastest 100 backstroker. She even swam the 2 back. She even swam the 50 back, and she wouldn't consider herself a backstroker, but she tried it, and she was killing it. I mean, she was dropping major time in backstroke, and that was cool to see for her. I think she was really excited about that, to see her dropping in sometimes, you know, and focusing away from just the sprint free aspect. You know, some people get too zoned in tunnel vision, like, this is it, I'm sprint free, and that's it, that's all I do. But branch out, try different events,
Definitely.
and CCS really allows you, College Club Swimming allows you to do that.
Yeah.